This is but a question, and I reach my hand out to you. What's up, guys? I'm Punter, and here we have a quick little video, a quick question, as I prepare. And by prepare, I mean really prepare to do a breakdown of darn near everything in the series of Jujutsu Kaisen. I've already done some breakdown videos, some proper explain videos, but I want to make them like my old style explain videos with like heavy editing and proper visuals and stuff like that. So I want to confirm a couple things with a couple different characters before I make them, at least on my own community's consensus. So then when I put them in the video, I don't have to worry about the conflict in that comment section, or at least I can redirect them to another video where other things explain. So we have a pretty common point of discussion and a pretty common point of, I just say, flat out contention within the JJK community. So I'm here to ask y'all. This. So let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Editing me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Mahito's annoying. He's very specifically very annoying, specifically within the context of JJK. I say you grab Mahito by the dome, take him out of his verse, and he gets washed. His stats, trash. His ability, not that common, but still common enough in other verses that characters can counter it. His battle IQ, it's good, but it ain't that good. Like, overall, Mahito, outside his verse, he's what's your problem. Drop him in Dragon Ball, he gets washed. Drop him in Bleach, he gets washed. Drop him in Naruto, he gets washed. Drop him in My Hero Academia, he gets washed. Drop him in anywhere else. And by washed, well, actually, My Hero Academia could be funky, because it depends on the answer to the question I'm going to ask y'all. But essentially, Mahito, mad, fine, outside his verse. He's kind of tame, ironically enough. Of all the characters to pull from JJK in a cross-verse sense, Mahito's like, maybe number 5, 6, 7? In terms of who you want to pull, you're going to pull your Gojos. You're going to pull your Sukinas. You may even pull your Itadoris now before you pull your Mahitos, your Makis, your Toji. You'll pull those out for the cross-verse sense. But of course, we're not here to talk about the cross-verse sense. We're here to talk about the inverse sense for Mahito. And a hypothetical explanation video that I may or may not be working on, which I am working on. How does it work? Because I swear, I hear it differently every single time. How does it work? To damage Mahito, is it complicated or is it simple? Is it complicated or is it simple? I need to know. I needs to know. This is another entirely separate discussion that will bother me for the UG explain video I'm working on. But, and obviously some UG versus battles I'm working on, inverse and cross-verse. But, obviously, we all remember, we're back in chapter 27. Mahito gets hit by Yuji for the first time after he makes Yuji tweak out. What an interesting attack. Too bad that won't work on me. As long as my soul... English, can't even read. As long as my soul retains its shape. Blah, blah, blah. He bleeds. He gets bamboozled. We get bamboozled. Everyone gets bamboozled. Huh? What? What's going on? Did he somehow hit my soul? Yuji Itadori is a vessel. Another soul dwells within his body, so he naturally has learned how to perceive the contours of the soul. This is it. And this is where the divide kicks in. Yuji Itadori, Mahito, the divide. Because I've seen two sides to the seemingly never-ending debate. And of course, do I see this video to end any debate? Not really. But once again, this is mainly for like my purposes and explain videos and versus battles that I'm working on. So, question. Is that all it takes? And what does he mean by learned? Those are two things. Now, I try to hunt down the other translations for this, but they all seem to say generally the same thing. Yuji Itadori is a vessel. Another soul dwells within his body, so he naturally has learned how to perceive the contours of the soul. Now, let's break down that sentence real quick. Another soul dwells within his body, so he naturally has learned how to perceive the contours of the soul. This is all Mahito says. And this is the only criteria we have for damaging Mahito. The other criteria we've seen as such as symbol domain, we just know how that works. If you use symbol domain on Mahito, it shuts down his curse technique, you kill. If you use the domain implication, you shut down his curse technique, you kill. You can do that. That's fine. We already know those. Those are solid. Those are concrete. But the reason the context of the sentence is so important is because it determines how viable Mahito is in the late game. If you think it is legit this simple, Mahito's not even top 15. He gets his cheeks clapped and he gets outstatted by like the top 15. Easy. Because a bunch of characters fit this criteria. And by characters, I mean big, beefy, juicy, scrumdiddlyumptious, and hefty powerhouses, such as my glorious king, Ryui Shigure. When he's incarnated, he would wash Mahito, because there are two souls dealing within his body, right? My glorious, amazing, but you get on my nerves now. Gosh darn. But Kashimo Hajime, another character who's going to get his own video another time. I mean, we're going to talk about it. Remember that card video I made talking about a scaling? Oh gosh, what's going to get one of those? But Kashimo Hajime, I think it's not unfair or unreasonable to say he genuinely just does outstat and booty clap Mahito. Right. But the question becomes, can these characters damage Mahito? Because if it is as simple as another soul dwells within the body, then they're good. Then characters like Uro can damage Mahito. Then characters like Ryu, Kashimo, heck, even characters like Hatsanoki, Reggie, any incarnated sorcerer, anyone who has two souls within their body should be able to damage Mahito. Now, let me hop into the counter argument. I always hear to this idea whenever it's brought up. Urume. Once again, just go down the list of characters who are incarnated. Yorozu. There's a bunch of characters who are incarnated who all have better stats than Mahito, but the question becomes complex or simple. The idea I always hear is that Sukuna and Yuji are a special case. Since Yuji and Sukuna genuinely interact, and in some cases have physically boxed, then bada bing bada boom, that's actually the requirement. Despite Mahito not saying that, you need to have some sort of deep, proper personal connection with your soul partner, your body partner, which we know certain characters don't have. As explained by Choso in, let me take a look in a book reading Rainbow Type Beat, in chapter 251. Aren't you and Sukuna special? I never sensed the person whose flesh became my foundation. In the case of a cursed object and non-sorcerer, that can happen due to the big difference in cursed energy. Even then, it's deep inside and doesn't disappear or completely merge. You said usually. It's a problem if Megami's an exception. I added that on my own. The cursed spirit... Yeah, what are you doing on my screen? The cursed spirit Mahito was able to combine... Get off my screen! Sorry, this is buckle on the screen. But the cursed spirit Mahito was able to combine other souls to transmogrify into different life forms. As long as a cursed technique like that is involved, two souls won't become one. I think. I trust Tsukumo, so I think I can knock Fushiguro's soul awake. So, this is the most common counter-argument I've seen. Well, actually, no, this is part of a separate counter-argument, but ultimately, characters like Choso, and as mentioned by Angel, we'll come back to you, you're also another problem, but characters like Choso, and where is it? Angel also brings it up here, this interesting conundrum that we find ourselves in. Back. There are more cursed spirits than players in Tokyo Colony number 2. Maybe because of the sea. That's why I came here. Why? If you avoid the night, predicting what cursed spirits do will be easier. My objective is to wipe out all the incarnated players. Most of them have done it by suppressing the owners of the bodies they're possessing, whether intentionally or subconsciously. That should never happen. It's against God's law. God. It's just the name I give to my beliefs. Pay it no mind. So, that aside, that's another video topic for another time. But this, once again, establishes the idea that most players do it subconsciously. But, as Yuji confirms, despite them suppressing the soul of their user, or the soul of the body they're inhabiting, the soul's still there. Unless someone like Mahito interferes, the souls can't actually properly merge. So, the criteria is met, right? All the reincarnated players meet the criteria that Mahito mentions. Learned how to perceive simply because naturally, remember, this is the big thing. It's not like Yuji went out and studied this. He naturally, according to Mahito, has learned how to perceive the contours of the soul, and thusly, he can damage. So, my understanding, two souls, one body, you naturally learn how to do it, you can damage Mahito. It's kind of like how when you learn how to, let's say, write your name with a pencil, naturally you can write your name with a pen. It's a different tool, it's a different implement, but you can just do it. Just like Yuji learned how to just do it. He never studied the soul. He had no idea about the soul. He was not intentionally targeting Mahito's soul at all. He did it subconsciously. Just like the sorcerers are suppressing the innate souls in their body subconsciously. No incarnated character even references the idea that there's an original soul in their body. They don't. None of them care. None of them even realize it. The only time it gets brought up is by Hazanoki one time when he's specifically confused by the name Kenjaku calls him by, and I think It's mentioned in an extra by Gege recently about Arame, who specifically requested through a contract the body of a woman rather than the initial body that they have, which was the body of a man. That's it. So, by proxy, by process of elimination, it's not that complicated. Body and soul, two souls, one body, bada bing, bada boom, you clap Mahito. Of course, this does mean if you were to use the original bodies of any of these characters, the original body of a Reggie, the original body of a Ryu, of a Kashimo, then technically they wouldn't be able to do that. So if you're making the distinction between original body and reincarnated body, the original body loses that advantage against Mahito. You have to use the reincarnated version that's introduced in the Killing Games. That's how I see it. But the common counter argument I see to even that idea is the idea that it's specifically Yuji being an exception to the rule, as he is the one who goes down to further master soul damage and specifically target the boundaries between souls. But I don't think that's the case, because then you would run into weird scenarios like Maki and Toji not being able to damage Mahito, if it really is that special. But remember, Maki and Toji can see the soul. It's a prerequisite to use Soul Split Katana. Yeah, the blade that Mai left was a replica of the cursed tool Split Soul Katana. It can bypass the toughness of many substances to cut the soul. However, exerting that power fully requires eyes that can observe even the souls of inorganic objects. What does this imply? It implies that Mahito can get punched to death by Maki and Toji because they can see the soul. Actively, in their case, but subconsciously in everybody else's case. So, the question I here lay to you, and once again, I'll see, and this is going to be the poll, but let me know, do you go with the simple idea or the complex idea? Do you take what the narrative and Mahito himself says, and the idea that as long as you have two souls dwelling within your body, you shall naturally learn how to target and perceive the contours of the soul? And by proxy, as long as you do that, you can damage Mahito, and thusly Mahito can lose to a lot more characters? Or do you take the latter approach? You go with Choso's innate assumption, and then disregard what Yuji says afterwards, and go with the idea that ultimately, Yuji and Sukuna are still a special and unique case. That since Yuji and Sukuna do have an active dynamic with the other person within that same flesh, they were able to naturally perceive the soul, but then there were extra steps taken on top of it, and that is what allowed Yuji to accidentally, subconsciously perceive the soul at first, and then allowed him to further refine it later on, through the help of Yuki Tsukumo's book. You know, obviously this matters a lot for matchups. A character like Yuki apparently should be able to perceive the soul, at least considering she's the one who wrote the soul book. Obviously characters like Maki and Toji are able to see the soul, literally down to the soul of an inanimate object. So no matter what you think Mahito is, whether you think he's an inanimate object because he's a curse or he's some sort of bioorganic object, they can see his soul, so they should be able to harm him. Yuji obviously is able to harm him, but it really depends. How far do you want to broaden the scope? If you go with the simple idea, the scope gets super duper far, and Mahito's not that dangerous in terms of the back half of the series with the incarnated characters. But if you do not, then Mahito gets a lot more dangerous, as a lot of characters will be literally unable to harm him without going to domain expansions or some domains or domain amps. So, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave Katana Split Soul. I know it's just backward, but leave Katana Split Soul instead of Soul Split Katana in the comment section down below. And thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below, where you can support me for as low as $1, get them one, no one, things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3. Whoa, $3 a month to get this, $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions to every series I happen to review, ad variations of all my videos, and you come into $25 Patreon or $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 29 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Once again, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Attack on the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Zara, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Brandon Payne, G Prosper, and Glacier XZ. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons: Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Igneel Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $7 members: Fine and Austin Wimberly, A Uchiha, along with Yuki Ally. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 members: Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 patrons, Overlord Zero, Joaquin Munoz, and Idel Okami. And I'd like to give a final, giga, legendary, superhuman, beyond the bounds of reality thank you to our That Guy with a Pencil tier patron. Okay. Calvin Elder.